Hi, so today I'm going to show you how to make a cloth pad by hand, and I'm really sorry if I mess this up. I'm not used to filming in my sewing room, so just go down. Okay, so the things you're going to need, the first thing you're going to need is some paper. This is just some old A4 paper. You're going to need, hang on, let me get it, a pen. You're going to need some pins, some scissors, and a needle and thread, obviously, for the needle. Don't know if you can see it. And then some thread. This is just some purple thread, doesn't really matter what colour it is. Yeah. Then for the actual pad itself, for the top and backing, you're going to need some fabric. This is just some old, a piece of fat cord. You can see I've cut out before. But you could use an old t-shirt or some old flannel pyjamas. Make sure it hasn't got a stretch to it, because that would be really difficult to sew with, although it will work, so just bear that in mind. So yeah. So you'll also need, for your inner core, you can either use, if you're using flannel as your top, you can use a couple of cutouts from the flannel inside, or if you've got an old towel, you can actually take it and you can cut it up into pieces. I've just cut some square pieces of this. These are both 23 centimeters long, because you will need a ruler. 23 centimeters long down here, and this is 2 pieces, so this would be about a light to regular flow. But if you've got a heavy flow, I recommend you put 3 or 4 in. Okay, so I'm not going to put any P-well, I'm not going to do anything complicated with this, it's just going to be very simple sewing. This video will be probably quite a while, I'm afraid, so just bear with me. So the first thing you're going to need is your paper, and I recommend you measure up the side about 25 centimeters, and then take your pen and then just mark where that is. Okay, then I'm just going to kind of do the same on about here. Sorry, it's my phone. Then I'm just going to draw a line across. I'm just going to cut that off. Okay, so I've just cut that off. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half, like this, making sure the corners completely match up. It's very important on this bit. And then I'm going to fold it in half again. Again, making sure they match up, okay? So it's just folded into 4. Now what you're going to do is you want to make sure that this bit that pulls back, okay, you want to be drawing this bit. Okay, so where these 2 lines are, you know, where it folds open from and where it doesn't fold open at all from, you want to have that bit facing you and this bit over here, so this is facing to your left. Okay, then I'm going to take my pen again and I'm just going to draw a rough shape. So I'm just going to kind of, actually I'm going to turn it over, it's easier for me to draw it this way. I'm just going to make a kind of gentle curve like that. Okay. And I'm just going to cut. Okay. So then what you should be able to do is unfold it and see your template. Okay. Now you can kind of look at that and say, is that too wide? Do I need to make those thinner, whatever. I usually take this and just see if it's going to be okay. I might need to cut this down a bit, but that's okay. I'm just going to make this a little bit narrower because I'm quite a narrow person. I need quite narrow gusseted pads because the gusset of my pants is quite narrow. So I'm just going to basically bring it in a little bit. Kind of like that. It doesn't need to be too neat at this point. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So that is my template done. Okay, so now I need to draw this out onto my fabric. Just going to clear some space. Now put the fabric wrong side up. So you see the pattern's on this side and you want it wrong side up facing you. Now because I'm just going to make one full pad, and I'm going to use the same for the top and the back, I'm going to place this here. And you might want to do this on a hard surface, actually not on the carpet floor, but it's easier for me to film on the floor here. So then I'm just going to draw all around this. Okay, so now I have, I don't know if you can see, but now I have 2 of my patterns drawn out. Yep. So now I'm just going to cut them out. I actually have a different pair of scissors for this because this is quite difficult to cut out. Okay, so here I have now the 2 cut out pieces of fabric. Now, if you haven't already, I should have mentioned this earlier, you might want to iron them. You can see they've got this crease down the centre, so now I'm just going to go and iron them. Okay, so now I've just ironed them, so they're nice and flat. So now comes the stitching part. So, I'm going to place I'm just going to need 1 to start with. I'm just going to tilt this down a bit. Okay, you're just going to need 1 to start with. Take both pieces of your inner core. If you're using the flannel, or you can use flannel, you can't use cotton, cotton's not very absorbent, but you can use flannel or toweling. If you're using flannel though, I suggest you use at least 3 for regular flow rather than 2 like I would for toweling. Toweling is very absorbent, so it's a good starting point. So I'm just going to place this in here, and I'm going to trim this down a bit, I think. So I'm just going to trim a bit off this end, and have another look. Yeah, a bit more, I think. And I'm also just going to round off the corners a little bit. So it looks like that. You can see the corners are now nicely rounded off. So I'm going to do that to both pieces, and I'm going to place them inside. Just going to do the same to the other bit. Okay, so now that I've placed them in there, I'm just going to take the pins, and I'm just going to put 1 pin up here and 1 pin down here. So there you are, it's all pinned on. So now you have to take your needle and thread, so yep, needle and thread. I'm just going to take a long bit of thread, about the length of my arm, you can see that, to start with. You might need more, but you never know. Cut that off. And now just put the needle down so I can. So then take the needle and I'm going to thread it. So I'm just going to pull it a little way through. Actually probably quite a firm way through. And then you're going to want to tie a knot at the end. Okay, so when that's done, I'm going to start just up in this corner. I'm just going to place my needle, go all the way through. Toweling does tend to fray quite a lot, you'll just have to bear that in mind. And pull tight, then stab it back in, like so. And again, stab quite close to it, all the way through, and then back in again. And you're going to want to do this all the way around the pad. Okay, so sorry about the loud sound now on, I had to turn the aircon on. But when you've gone all the way around the pad, you can see they're not very neat stitches, they're just holding the soaker to the pad. You're going to want to make a knot, so go once more through, and back again. And then you're going to want to just go into the fabric part way and pull through once, pull through again, and it will cause you a knot. You just want to cut that off, like so. And there you have your soaker sewn to your pad. Now you need to sew it to the other part of the pad. So what you need to do is place this bit with the pattern face up, so that's the back side, it's down. And you want to place this with the soaker layer on top, like so. And just kind of match them up as best you can. Okay, and then again go around and pin them. I suggest you do one at the top, one on the wing, one at the other top, and one on this wing as well. And actually, I'm not going to pin this wing because this is where I'm going to turn the pad the right way out. So I'm going to take my needle, which is here, and some more thread. I'm going to need a lot more thread for this one. So you can either do it with a little bit of thread at a time and keep stopping and starting, or you can make a really long piece, which is just a little bit more difficult to sew with. Okay, so I've just brought the camera down a little bit so you can see a bit better how to do this bit. So I'm going to start with the wing I haven't pinned, so I'm going to go from this bit all the way around. So I find it's easier to sew from this side. Just going to go in, pull that through, and then I'm just going to do what I call a running stitch, which is really basic stitching. I'm just going in and out, so in and out. And you probably will prick yourself a million times doing this, I will warn you, but in the end it's worth it, trust me. Okay, so you can see now I've just gone all the way around the pad with a very wide, what we call tacking stitch or running stitch, and I've now left a hole on the side here, so I'm just going to turn this the right way out. So because it's hand stitched, it won't be as neat as if we'd done it on a machine. You'll probably get a little bit of fraying as well. But you can open it up and get a pair of scissors and go in through the hole and just kind of push the bits out a bit. And stitches, because you can see it will fray a little bit around these edges. Yeah. Then all you got to do is stitch up this hole you made over here by pushing these bits in, and then just doing a little stitch over that. Then if you're being really fussy, you could top stitch by hand around all this, but I don't think you need to. Attach some poppers, and that is your pad. So yeah, I hope you found this useful and this helped you out a little bit. It does take quite a while to do by hand, but it's actually quite fun making these cloth pads. So yeah, thanks for watching.